My name is Ashley Harris, and I'm presenting my field supervision experience. I conducted a vision walk with three members of Forest Heights STEM Academy. These members were Amy Cooper, the principal, Cindy Jones, a third grade parent, and Amanda Harbin, the STEM coordinator. The vision for Forest Heights STEM Academy is to accept the challenge of creating a learning environment that will engage all students in rigorous STEM activities that foster critical thinking skills. They believe that relationships greatly impact the school's success. Due to this belief, they correlated teacher-student relationships with peer relationships. They understood that the school's morale and success depend on the ability of teachers, parents, and administration to collaborate in order to meet the needs of all students. FHSA identifies teaching and learning effectiveness through the use of data in their school-based intervention team, which is also commonly referred to as SBIB. The data used from formative and summative assessments guides their instruction within the building, and it's used to make important decisions as to how a student will gain understanding and how the teacher will differentiate in order to support learning for each student as an individual student. Decisions within Forest Heights are made collaboratively amongst parents, students, council members, and the leadership committee. These decisions include volunteer opportunities, staff and student incentives, curriculum, and so much more. With such a large K-8 school, the facilities are in need of improvement in order to support the school's effectiveness. Ms. Cooper believed that the labs and classrooms needed newer technology and to maintain a strong hold on the direction of the school. Ms. Harbin agreed with Ms. Cooper, but also thought true integration of STEM resources should be modeled at all levels within the school, and that this would start with administration effectively using technology when possible for tasks such as check-in, volunteers, and data reporting. FHSA places an emphasis on growth by creating a team goal. This past year, the school goal was to focus on writing. Staff then chose two personal goals because in Ms. Cooper's opinion, if we're working on the same thing, we all need the same goal, which I definitely agreed with. As a STEM school, Ms. Jones felt students need to have access to technology in all areas of the school. This included music, art, and PE. Resources have been scarce in current times and subsequently have not been able to be used and or monitored as effectively as they should have. The equipment is out of warranty and many just has damage due to a shortage in staffing, and the designated party was not assigned to complete the job. Technology surveys were conducted to indicate functionality for teachers so that they would have working equipment, and with regard to issues occurring with implementation and physical damage, the teachers were able to outline those issues. It was important to Ms. Cooper that teachers always have the resources they need in order to not take away from their learning opportunities. She did not want them to miss out on anything or be hindered because of the ability or inability to be able to use the technology that they are supposed to have. Ms. Harbin felt leadership was effective at FHSA because of student and staff involvement in a plethora of outside conferences and activities that supported the school and community. Some of these included the annual ISTE conference, the Ron Clark School, and Aviation Academy for Students. Ms. Cooper also stated that she used teacher reflections and surveys to review strengths and weaknesses in order to support mastery of staff goals. As an active parent, Ms. Jones felt FHSA involved stakeholders to improve the school because she was a part of many conversations and partnerships outside of the school to plan for student opportunities and just to gather resources. In our group conversation, it was very evident that having parents serve on the leadership team, be actively engaged, and have parents on the PTSA, and the use of feedback were just a few of the reasons why Forest Heights' efforts were praised. This school maintained homeschool communication through their personal app, website calls, and classroom newsletters. To implement this vision and steward the process, we discussed the importance of having balanced professional development that supports both literacy and math needs. Based on their InterStar report, they were able to identify which students were at ready and exceeding and which students were in need of a great deal of support. So by enabling teachers to have the professional development they need, they are then empowering teachers to support the needs of their students. FHSA also uses colleague visits, classroom walkthroughs, and specific professional learning communities to support teachers in gaining the knowledge they need to successfully engage students in rigorous content. Moreover, these members knew how important it was that students have success to technology, and their goal was to purchase new devices for 3 grade levels over the next 5 years. Due to funding. The community programs they are currently designing also directly included STEM fields such as the promotion of the Girls of Promise Conference and coding summits. For their school improvement goals, the first goal was to improve the school culture and discipline. The impact to teaching and learning with this goal is that students will be more engaged because there won't be a lot of issues due to the improvement in their school culture and discipline. There will be parent partnerships to support their learning. A lot of times, parents do not feel that they are welcomed into the school, but by improving the school culture, they'll be able to see that they are a partner in the learning. There will be fewer office referrals, which will often resulted in misinstruction of that student with the discipline issue. And then it'll also be a distraction-free instruction, and planned interactive lessons will be available because teachers will know that the discipline is conducive to having a lesson that is more hands-on and has more parts. The plans for implementing this goal are to have a classroom management support system, to also use positive behavior intervention and supports, to make sure that discipline is brought before the SBIT team so that teachers can understand how to appropriately intervene and to be proactive instead of reactive. We also want to make sure that parent representatives are available for the leadership team so that they can have their voice heard in order to create that school culture that is supportive of all individuals. And we want to also make sure that they have regular communication with, whether it's through their newsletters, the school's app, the website, or just from face-to-face conversations when parents are in the building. And staff, when staff is in the building, and students as well, because respect, we know, is definitely something that everyone strives to have and to give. We also want to make sure that we're supporting the home learning and extending learning into the home so that parents have those resources, whether it be books, extra support sheets, whether it's a recommendation to a tutoring program that is free or at a low cost. We definitely want to make sure that everyone is understanding that our school culture is everyone and not just a select few, and that discipline needs to be a continuous process that continues from day one to the end of school. School improvement goal number 2 is for student achievement growth. This impact to teaching and learning is to improve core instruction. We want to make sure that the instruction is where the students are so that they can get to where they need to be. Identification and implementation of appropriate interventions is in a sense to make sure that teachers understand my student is struggling in A. I'm going to get my student to A by doing B, C, and D. We also want to increase the overall percentage of students scoring ready and exceeding in the 2018 to 2019 summative assessments. Based on the data that we reviewed, it was obvious that some students were leaving the basic section of the assessment and we're moving on to ready, which was in a sense altering some of the data. So we had to take a deeper look to understand exactly what was represented with the data. We also want to make sure that this goal is impacting teaching by improving critical thinking skills and using efficient strategies. Many times students will go back to just simply counting with sticks to 1 million instead of simply using an effective strategy they have seen that has been proven, which will be shown through our goal of student achievement growth. To implement this goal, we want to make sure that we consistently review our data. And in order to do that, we're going to make sure that teachers are using a variety of tools. We want to analyze the areas of concern in both math and literacy so that we can see the most challenging issues, to create a whole group experience and some small group experiences for students with needs. We also want to make sure teachers are enforcing the elements of mastered knowledge through questioning, review, and lesson extensions. Lessons don't just stop once it's a sit and get rotation. It needs to be built upon over time. And we also want to make sure that teachers are promoting that growth mindset, that although something may not come easy at one point, we know that students will continue to grow, whether it be slowly or quickly. And we also want to make sure we still include that school-home connection and communication, just providing those parents with all the resources they need in order to support their students. Goal number 3 is for leadership. The impact for teaching and learning is that we'll have a unified vision and improve morale. Everyone wants to feel a part of a team. We'll also be modeling leadership qualities to support student leaders through our